users angry checks is online.
Hey everyone. So I was just getting ready to come in here and get things started, and my youngest son had crawled out of bed and he's like, "Need to go potty, Daddy." I was like, "Damn it, child, you have the worst timing." So we're getting to it. Angry Chair, you have not yet hacked the Gibson, but you are in the right spot for that. So give me just a minute. I realized I just forgot something. Go grab it and then we're gonna get started. No, it was not a crack pipe. We only do the finest meth in here. All right. All right. Now we can actually kick things off. What's up, everyone? My nice schedule that I had for Mondays and Wednesdays just got BTFO'd. And it's just for a little while. But I feel bad because actually it makes things harder on my wife. But this was the first Monday of the new crazy schedule. It's a little bit chaotic right now. Peanut butter and crack sandwich. All right. Let's see here. What's going on, everybody? Monk, we're not playing Grey Hack today. We were playing. We're going to play that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we're still working on getting Salty past that one really hard mission he's on. And then, oh shit, just remember something. Hang on. We're going to go into OPSEC mode. So we've got. So yeah, no, we're on Tuesdays and Thursdays when we're doing those streams with Salty. And then every other day of the week, we're just hacking on whatever's next up in the RTO lab. All right, cool. I had to get my. I just realized I didn't have my stream monitors up, so I can check the health of the stream. There we go. There we go. Awesome. We can get back to it. Bam. Muy sofisticado. Yes, exactly. You're gonna mage hand my heart. We already ruled that that wasn't allowed. DM already ruled on it. Can't mage hand my heart. All right. Let's see what we're looking at today. We're going to be working on something called SCCM today. Let me grab the iPad of knowledge. Man, and today was also at work was just a slog fest. I had the entire day I was just fighting with my tech. Nothing wanted to work right the first time around. It was nothing but constant reconfiguring and tweaking, and not even in fun ways like, oh hey, it's working. It's working. We're just gonna make it better. No, it was just doing very fucking basic functionality. It was such a pain in the ass today. Sometimes your tech just wants to fight back and you gotta show it who's boss. It happens all the time, actually, with my wife, my family members. They'll come to me and they'll say, hey, something's broken. Well, you can take a look at it. And as soon as I go over there, it starts working right. Because it's intimidated. You work in IT long enough, you get the IT intimidation aura. It doesn't work on people. It just works on the technology. It intimidates the technology into behaving properly. All right. So today, we're going to be looking at the, so something called the Systems Center Config Manager. So this guy is really handy, and there's lots of neat hacks against it. I've never actually gotten to do these. So this is actually something new even for me. I just haven't had a chance to really get into SCCM. And I've been wanting to for a long time. So I'm actually really excited about this section. It's not even a long section that we're going over. But SCCM, if you compromise it, will let you have just wide-ranging lateral movement. Because SCCM does endpoint configuration and server configuration. So you can push configs down to systems, install packages, different scripts that are supposed to run. You can manage all that through SCCM. The latest evolution of that is Intune, unless they change the name again, because why the hell not? But Intune is like the latest evolution of that, with all the Azure AD or Entra joined machines now. So they're not the same thing, but they're I don't know how to say that they're similar, but they're not. But they are. They're similar in that that's how they operate. So SCCM was agent-based though. Intune, I guess it's still technically agent-based. I don't think it's baked into Windows itself. But really, SCCM's role is to help with system management tasks. I think it can also do system monitoring as well. So if you wanted to make sure that you had some reporting metrics on like how much RAM or disk or CPU utilization was happening on key servers, let's say like your production database server, that would be one place you could actually collect those metrics, if I remember right. And you can also do this in just one. So like you could have a standalone site, right? So let's say this is, since we use my hometown, let's say this is Dallas. Except Dallas doesn't have an N in it. Let's see, so let's say we had a Dallas site, right? We could have just like one giant site, but then we could also have secondary sites. So let's say we also had Austin. And then we could also have let's say Houston. And then even further subdivided from that, we could have different smaller sites like by site here, right? Because then we could say, there's not really a good example for that. I mean, you could actually come down and say, let's say in Austin you had like Office 1. So you had an office in Austin, and let's say you had a data center too. So you could just keep doing these small slices of hierarchy. You could have a big sprawling hierarchy of how these configurations apply and where they apply. And because that complexity actually makes it more difficult to manage sometimes, which is great because living in misconfigured land is where I like to live. That's where I thrive. I'd say probably better than, at least better than 90%, maybe as high as 95% of the attacks that I do are focused on misconfigurations. To Papi. Hey, Shadow. Crazy boy. So, but yeah, that's usually where most of the exploits that I do whenever I'm doing day-to-day pen testing. A lot of times it's in misconfiguration land, and so which is nice because then it's not like they need to go through and do something. Now, don't be wrong, there could be missing patches throughout the environment. Patch cycle management is kind of one of those things that, like, I don't see a lot of clients that have like half their systems like fully patched and the other half not. A lot of times it's they've got the vast majority patched or the vast majority unpatched. It's kind of weird. Hey, Shadow. Dude, what's popping is my work schedule and my wife's work schedule just got cranked up to 11 right now this week. And so this Monday was the first Monday of that. And it feels like extra Monday. This is Monday plus plus. I'm not digging it. I actually feel worse, not for me, but for my wife, because it's really putting a lot more on her. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to make it easier for her. Today was just the first day of learning that. I was like, okay, there's going to be some adjustments in schedule happening here. We're going to have to shift some shit around. Yeah. Monday premium. Ugh. Yeah, exactly. It's like was it Hulu? They still make it, they charge you for it, but they still want to run ads? Get out of here. They wonder why more people are sailing the high seas. Yeah. Other GoPro, what's up, dude? How you been, man? All right. Let's see. Let's see here. So let's take a look at this real quick. This is a blog article kind of discussing some of the attacks against SCCM. Of course, it's by someone Expector Ox. God. Save some drip for the rest of us, if you don't mind. Dude, you're in the right spot, man. This is just us all learning together, dude. Not exactly blind leading the blind, but, you know, at least someone with a good prescription with somebody who's blind. Dumb analogy. Okay, so cool. This is neat. So the main takeaway is there's no security boundary between sites in the same hierarchy. So we go back to this example here. Let's say there's something funky and we compromise. Let's say Houston has an office site, right? So if we compromise the Houston site, in theory, we should be able to hit everything else in here. Bam, bam. Just fire a MERV out there. So when administrative users granted a security role in SCCM, such as full admin or infrastructure admin in any primary site. Okay, so I take that back. That illustration was not correct. It needs to be a primary site. The underlying database changes propagate upward to the central administrative site. Oh, maybe that was correct then. There's a little bit of verbiage. That's one of the, when you're trying to learn like a new piece of tech, getting the verbiage down is always important. You can kind of make smart assumptions, just make sure you don't get married to them in your brain until you actually fully understand it. I make that mistake still sometimes. I'm like, oh, well, hey, it was called this. But I was like, oh, I guess that wasn't really what I thought. It happens. I added an admin. Just the site, right? Just the site, right? I love this meme. That's one of my favorite memes. Okay, actually, this is great. He actually included some SCCM specific terms. So, yeah, he just mentioned it here. It's a client server configuration. So you got the endpoint configuration manager, the mecum. Then you got the endpoint configuration manager, the mecum. Sounds like an old biblical Jewish name. Memcom. And then you have SCCM, and then you also have the Systems Management Server, the SMS. I'll stop calling it SCCM whenever they change the name of the subreddit. Wait, there's a whole subreddit for SCCM stuff? Yep, there sure is. Of course, there's a subreddit for freaking everything, man. Okay, so all of the sites in one instance. So hierarchy is any of the sites in an instance of SCCM. A site's an environment that provides services to a scope of clients. Primary or secondary sites and or admins. Centralized site, primary site. All right. There's a site system role, which is a role installed on a site system to host functionality for a site. Okay, important. So each of these is a site in here. Bam, 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 bam. Each of these. These would be the primary sites. In fact, let's color code these real quick. So let's do an example. So let's say Dallas here is a primary site. And let's say Austin's a primary site. And then Houston is also a primary site. And then these other ones could be like secondary sites. So we'll just kind of put those in gray. So if we modify something in a primary site, it'll propagate up to the other primary sites, is what I'm reading. So a server that hosts the site system role, also unfortunately referred to as the site system servers, but we'll just call them the site systems to avoid this. Okay, so there's site systems, site servers. There's a client. All right. Good Lord. This is why nobody likes you, Microsoft. Talk about over-engineering a solution. So there's also a security scope. There's a container of objects to which a security role can be granted. Okay. Makes it simple. So if you had something in one of those offices, you throw it into a particular OU or throw it into a group, and then you can apply that to all those machines really easily. There you go. Okay, so you might have a central site, a couple of primaries, and these would all be secondary sites under those primaries, right? A bunch of client computers. This is a way better drawing than what I just did. Thanks for making me feel bad about my art. You know what's funny? He's like, confused yet? Sorry, I didn't make these names up, but these are the names that we were given. Yeah, I feel the same way whenever I'm teaching Kerberos, because everything is a ticket something ticket. You have a ticket granting ticket, and then you got a ticket granting service ticket. And so it's just the ticket just gets the term just gets abused in that context. Let's see. So he actually came upon this by accident. He was surprised to see it. I was assumed that role-based access in SCCM was defined on a per-site basis. Interesting. But according to Microsoft's own documentation, sites aren't used as administrative boundaries. In other words, don't expand a standalone primary site to a hierarchy with a central administration site to separate administrative users. So all security assignments are replicated and available throughout the hierarchy. So role-based administration configurations replicate to each site in the hierarchy as global data, and then are applied to all administrative connections. So in this example, he says when I granted a brand new Active Directory user full administrator security roles and an SCCM primary site, that user appeared as a full administrator in the CAS. That's here. That's bad. So, and other primary sites in the hierarchy. That's bad. Okay. So the key here is if we can compromise a primary site or a user with full administrator or one of the infrastructure management roles on a primary site, it might be game over there, especially if they have the domain controllers put in there, right? Because then you can go through and deploy scripts and packages to pretty much those sites, to any of those machines that are managed by it. Attackers with administrative access to any site database in any primary site can grant themselves this. Okay, so if we compromise the database, we can just say, hey, yeah, by the way, this guy's a full admin. Interesting. So that was if they add themselves to full administrator. But they could also, like, if you knew exactly what permissions you needed, you could create a custom role. He's saying basically, don't take more than you need. So this is actually a really good distinction to understand here, this section. And the reason for that is because, we've always been talking about the difference between a penetration test and a red team operation, right? So in a red team operation, you're trying to be more stealthy, more objective based. You've got some piece of critical objective you're trying to reach that would cause great monetary impact to the client. So they want to make sure their defense in depth posture is strong to prevent that, or at least slow the attacker down enough that they will be detected before they reach the target. That's actually the second part. I've never mentioned this before, but a lot of security isn't just stopping the attacker dead. A big section of that is detection. Can you detect the threat before the compromise becomes a breach, right? A lot of people throw these terms out quite a bit. So a compromise is whenever the attackers gain access to something. They compromised an email server. They compromised a web server. But no breach necessarily took place. A breach, whenever I think of the term, means data actually left your environment. Critical data, not just, oh, they got the source code to the web front end. Who gives a shit? It's not really critical information. But let's say, oh, but they got access through the website to a database that had all of our customers' names and emails and phone numbers. All right, that's a breach now. It's been escalated. You weren't able to stop them from going from the web server to the SQL server, so you had a breach in there. So a big part of this is can you put detections in place to prevent this? So one thing I've done in the past in penetration tests is whenever I compromise a system with sufficient permissions, I'll go actually add my own testing account to domain admins. I'll see how long it will take them to catch it. I had one client I tested, and I did this, and they didn't detect it. They didn't even know that account was there until the end of the engagement. I told them, by the way, here's your cleanup task. And one of them was to go delete that domain admin account. I went back 2 years later, and they had actually shored up their detections so well that when I got domain admin, I did the same thing. And then I left for the day. Well, apparently that set off an entire shitstorm because they had their detections down so well. Not only did they detect the user being added to domain admin, but they actually traced the system that did it down to the exact switch port in which office I was in. But I had already left, and I left my little network switch there. So they thought my network switch was an attack box, like a little Raspberry Pi or something, and they took it. So I come in the next morning, I'm looking around, I talked to my point of contact, I was like, hey man, what happened to my switch that I had in here for my laptop? And he's like, oh yeah, so this is what happened after you left. I got to talk to like the head of their service department who also handled their IR, and he told me all about it. I was blown away. That was a really fast response time. Less than 10 minutes probably. But I had just happened to do it, and then I left. So what was the point of that whole story? If I really wanted to be sneaky in those instances, which you're not super trying to, yeah, he wasn't. They were pretty. I was really impressed with that, especially like I said, having tested them 2 years ago, GoPro. I thought, damn, you guys really stepped it up. I was really happy about that. So I love seeing that. So I get clients that routinely come back to me for multiple years, and typically what'll happen is they'll come back to I say to me, I'm talking about my team, right? They'll come back to us, they'll work with us, and we'll work with them for a couple years. Then, just as a part of their standard due diligence, they've got to rotate off to another client or another provider, right? Another servicer. Someone else is going to do the penetration test. Hey, Apollo, what's up? White hats are for Cuban gangsters. I prefer black hats. Hey. Yeah, no kidding, right? So, I love that though. So like, I see my clients and like I'm doing those kind of like repeated ones. I think they're great because I'm able to see the growth of the security posture, right? So I've talked about this before too. Like a lot of times when I see clients, their security posture looks like this. Let's say this is a low posture and let's say this is a high one. Hold on one second. Thanks, honey. I didn't want to sneeze in the microphone. Hold on, let me snooze these ads. All right, so let's say this is their security posture, right? And so this is going from low to high this way. A lot of times, what the count of clients I would see was I'd see kind of a lot down here, the low side, and then there'd be a dip around the midpoint, and then another spike around the high side. And I call this the security gulf, or the security valley, because it seems like there's something that causes this big jump right here. I just didn't see a lot of clients that were in this area. And so doing these multi-year tests, though, one thing I like about them is that I do get to see clients pass through the gulf, as I call it. Usually something bad has to happen here. And if my team in their penetration test can be the bad guy here to cause the jumping of the gulf, Evil Knievel style, I'm all for it. Do they teach something like that on Security Plus? I don't think so. I wouldn't think that they teach how to do like user alert monitoring on Sec Plus. It's going to be a little bit more low level than that, because that's going to be a technology dependent thing. And that's something I struggle with actually whenever I just realized I didn't start the lab. Yeah, exactly. GoPro. That's more sim and blue team stuff. I think I need a dust in my office. Driving my nose crazy. I just realized we didn't start the lab. I was so happy to jump in because I really want to go pwn SCCM. SCCM at one place I worked at was an absolute dumpster fire, and the other place I worked at was a flaming turd. If you wanted to learn specifically like this, believe it or not, just take some of the Microsoft certifications. Yeah, and experience. Experience does play a role into that. Let's see, actually. So let's see what Microsoft has in that realm now. So Microsoft SCCM certification. Let's see what they have. So SCCM is a little bit older technology too. You see it in older, more mature environments. There's a whole bunch of configuration, but it looks like they've retired that certificate. So one thing we could also do, let's go look at Udemy. Microsoft SCCM. Let's see if anybody's got any good SCCM labs. Here we go. So there is an option here. You could come do this through Udemy, or Udemy, however you want to say it. They're charging an awful lot for this, though. Let's try something real quick. So Udemy, Microsoft SCCM. Let's see what this comes up at. Just give us the price, though. Yeah, 109. So maybe they've stopped doing it. For a long time, though, you could get a ton of Udemy courses for like 10 to 20 bucks. They'd always have them on sale. But I haven't bought any in a long time. I wonder if they finally have caught up and changed their pricing structure. This one actually is even a little old. Updated October 2022. That would be, you're right, GoPro. Setting it up here in your own home lab would be the primo way to do it. And just play with all the different features. That's what this guy did over here. What was his name? Chris Thompson. That's what he did. He had it in his own home lab. So that would be a good way to do it. Maybe after we go through RTO2, we'll take a little bit of a break from the learning path, and we'll set up an Active Directory system in my Proxmox server that I've got down here. So, let's see here. Actually, that's a good point. Let's try that. Let's copy that link. Yeah, that used to be my favorite trick. Apollo was open it in courses from $14.99. Okay, let me see this. There we go. There's the trick. All right, hold on. Let's close this out. So if we grab, let's try it. Let's do it with a different one. So we open this link incognito, and we click this redeem up here. Now it's $18.99. Not bad. So what if we come back and what if we search for it again? So Microsoft SCCM. Just using that as an example. Look at that. Discount, 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 discount. Nice. Let's try something else here. Let's say, would be another one. Let's try, actually, let's look at ethical hacking. Ooh, it applied to these two. There we go. We found the new cheat code. There you go. Good call, Apollo. Crazy hacks. Incognito mode. They'll never catch me. I'm behind 7 proxies incognito mode. Let me see what else he's got listed in here. We're gonna let's go ahead and get the lab spun up while the ads are running, just to let everybody have time to get on. And in fact, I'm only gonna open the attacker box because we've backdoored so many things. We're getting shells back all the time when the boxes come online. Yeah, exactly. GoPro, it probably also works if you do like plus delimited, right? So your email plus like number 1 plus number 2 plus number 3. That would probably work also. Let's let this go. I had heard Gmail does that, but I wasn't okay, I know they do it like the dots in the name, right? So you can shift the dots around. Apollo, I did not hear about the Twitter exploit. What was that? Or I may have heard about it and just not know which one you're referencing. Let's let that put up. Ads are almost done. Awesome. With write access to a site database in any primary site, you can do anything you want. So there's no way to configure SCCM role-based access control to prevent hierarchy takeover from a child primary site. So what that means is you better guard those primary sites like Fort Knox. Better than Fort Knox. So here's a couple ways an attacker could maybe change the site database. So of course, NTLM authentication by SMB, and then be able to proxy that. So as an administrator of any primary site, push install the SCCM client software on the site server, site database SMS provider, or passive site server to gain access to an account with DB owner database privs. All right. Gain access to a site database by less predictable, most but uncommon methods like curve roasting. Yeah, that could probably work. SQL links, also database administrator accounts compromises. So anything that gets you access to the database or as administrator on the system, I think would let you be able to do this. Oh, cool. He even provides some handy SQL queries to be able to add those stuff to the databases. Apollo, what was the Twitter exploit? Okay. The exploit has something to do with the URLs they use, where anyone can redirect users using a URL that has blank in it or something like that. Damn it. I got to figure out where that URL filtering is. Hang on, everyone. Stand by. Trying to see something here. Nope. Content. Damn it, I know in here there is. Damn it. I have to go find it later, man. Every time I look for it, I keep forgetting or I forget to look at it. Yeah, I forget where that is. I was going to see if I could turn it off real quick, but I don't want to burn a lot of time on it. I thought I had it turned down to... Because it used to be. I don't know what I changed. I was tweaking shit. Where it would post the comment, but delete it, and then give me the option to undelete it. Yeah, it looks like it does for any domain in there. All right, let's actually hop into it now. Let's see what. Let's pull up Cobalt Strike. I thought we did, didn't we? Yeah, there it is. It's just in the background. So let's connect over to Cobalt Strike, and let's actually get into some hacks now. We've done our homework now. So let's start. We should have a beacon come back from Workstation 2. Gotta give it a sec to work here. Navigate to your dashboard, click settings, and then moderation. Yep, homework equals done. All right, I'm going to try this real quick, GoPro. So, dashboard, settings, moderation. All right, let's see here real quick. Let me see. That shit, we'll just do it on stream. There's nothing confidential back here. So we're going to go to creator dashboard. How do I go to the dashboard? Oh. There we go. And then, what'd you say? Settings, then moderation. Okay, so it's probably over here. Settings, moderation. All right, cool. Block terms and phrases, permitted terms. I'll leave that alone. Chat options, block hyperlinks. All right, I'm going to try that. Yep, let's do that. Right, do I need to apply it or just do it? I think that just kind of does it. All right, try it now, GoPro. Ah, there we go. All right, so let me try something real quick. Links. I know there's a way to permit this from Nightbot. Nightbot allow links. Let's see. Fuck it, we'll just do it live. This is in the docs though. I just want to know. Filters. All right, hang on one second. Let's go into OPSEC mode. Let me actually log into Nightbot real quick. There we go. All right. Let's see here. I know that there's spam protection. Is this it? Links. Filter allows you to timeout and whitelist links. All right, let me go to options. So whitelist. So that one was just a twitch.tv. That should be it. Did it actually drop the line? So it's supposed to say no phishing allowed if you drop a link, but then there's supposed to be a way to announce it. Let's see. I know there's a way to fix this. Let's see. So we have songs, titles, winner, bands. Okay, so none of those are in there. Customs. I thought I had a links command that would do that. I guess not. Spam protection. I'm going to enable repetition. I'm going to turn off this. All right. We're going to allow links temporarily. All right, try it now, GoPro. Drop something in there. Okay, so that worked. Let's look at the options here. Can I tell it to... So mods are allowed, but I know there's a way to, like, permit these. Let's see. Nightbot... temporary allow links. We're just going to hack the stream tonight. That's what we're going to do. You can use permit username. Okay, let's try that. I didn't think permit was an option in here, though. All right, so let's block links. And enable this. And then if we go to commands, the defaults. Stack, I don't see a permit in here. Maybe that's just... Okay, let me try this. Permit at GoPro. Okay, cool. There we go. Sweet. Now we can have protections and selective bypass. Hey, Apollo, or anybody else, try and drop another link in here. I want to see what the behavior is now. Is it just going to filter it, or is it going to drop it? Stop spamming words and phrases. Shit, how do I untime out GoPro now? Damn it. What's the... Hold on. I got you, GoPro. Sit tight. Where is this? What if I do the same thing? What if I do permit GoPro? That just says it for 60 seconds. Hold on. Let's go to the spam protections. What did it trigger on? Repetition? No, I want to permit. Let me see here. Okay, you know what? 600 seconds is a bit excessive. We're going to do this 30 seconds. And we're going to bump this up a little bit. Make it 75%. I don't know what this means, but we're going to just turn it up. Is there an untimeout command? Nope. Fuck it, y'all. We're doing it live. Nightbot. Untimeout. Alright, there we go. Timeout command. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I can do timeout, GoPro. 1 second. Okay, let's see if that overrode the 600 seconds, GoPro. If you can hear me, give me a sign. It didn't do it. Oh, I can just untime out. Good lord. This is a pro streamer move. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. Okay, so GoPro's untimed out. All right. Let's stop fucking with this now. Jeez. All right, we learned some valuable lessons today. One of those is about testing in production. All right. Look at all these shells we had last time. Damn. We were walking on the beach collecting shells. Let's remove these. And let's do some housekeeping real quick. Yeah, I don't care. All right. We're going to set all these to, like, sleep for 10 seconds. Same thing here. Sleep. There we go. So we'll let these kind of warm up here real fast. So one of the tools we're going to use for this is... Let's go look at our tools folder. Oh, okay, hold on. This is good now. Permit GoPro. It's not supposed to say stop posting links. It's supposed to say no phishing. Damn it, Nightbot. Breaking my heart. So I saw this tool in here when I was looking at the... Here. There we go. So somebody actually made a sharp SCCM tool for doing these kinds of abuses. Look at the README file. Oh, you know what? I need to change the link protections. Damn it, because it timed him out. It can't time him out and then. Oh, okay, hang on. Stand by, GoPro. Learning all this stuff the hard way. Let's see. Where's our spam protections? There we go. Links. Let's do options. Timeout length for links is going to be like 3 seconds. Maybe just 1 second. I really just want it to, like, block it. It must be greater than 5 seconds? That's annoying. Okay. All right, so I'm going to... Okay. Untimeout. GoPro. Oh, so you're not currently timed out. Okay, so if I permit GoPro... There we go. All right. This feels like a little bit like playing like fishing Russian roulette, GoPro. Fishing link, nice. Well played. Well played, gentle sir. GoPro is a gentleman and a scholar. I don't care what anybody says about it. Of course, Harmjoy was part of this. Dude. He's such a badass researcher. I want to be like Harmjoy when I grow up one day. Wait, this is it? Where's the info? Where's the... Here's how you do stuff. Killing me, Smalls. We got to make a new text file anyway. New text file. And we're going to call this one... We'll call this... Make this our SCCM notes. SCCM. Now, I had another README in here, actually. Let's go take a look at that. Let's open this one. Oh, this is just the patch notes, it looks like. Release notes. Not as helpful. All right. Well, you know what? Let's do something. Let's actually see about doing this the same way we did it before. So we could try to be a little bit stealthier with this. How big is this binary? Let's see. So if we go into bin release, sharp SCCM. Oh, it's tiny. It's only, well, I say tiny. It's 1 meg, right? So maybe it would make more sense. We'll actually produce less traffic if we were just to proxy this from local out. So let's do that real quick, actually. Let's do our... We have our run as in here. There we go. So we're going to run a bee farmer shell in here. Password for bee farmer is kitty farts. Not really. I can actually just put whatever password I want to in here. Then we're going to run it. Let's load up. Because we actually are running AMZ. We're actually running Defender on our attack box. But we have the payloads whitelisted, the payloads and the tools directory. So we're going to load up our MC bypass so MC doesn't squash us running our malicious tools. And then we're going to ask TGT. Sweet, we still had it in here. Let me blow this up for everybody so y'all can see this real quick. So what we did here is we did a run as. And the reason why this allowed us to put in a fake password is because we did net only. This process is not going to have anything to authenticate locally. So It's going to store that password in memory and to be able to pass that and get the NTLM hash and do all the shit with it on network resources, not on local resources. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of mess with that a little bit. We're going to ask for a TGT. And that's going to give us our first phase authentication, except we didn't turn on our SOCKS proxy. Getting ahead of myself. We did turn on our SOCKS proxy here. So let's come over to workstation DOS. Let's see here. We actually want to... We'll be able to spawn this as B Farmer. So we'll actually need to go log into workstation 2. Connect. And the reason is because we want workstation 2 to be able to run... we want to have access to B Farmer's beacon so we can spawn an HTTP beacon. Because trying to do this over DNS will suck. You suck diddly-uck, Flanders. Oh, I miss when the Simpsons were funny. Let Bob log in here real quick. It's totally not suspicious, right? Whenever you first log into a machine and you have a whole bunch of console windows pop up, is it? I mean, that's normal behavior. I have like 20 of those pop up whenever I log into my gaming system. See? Yeah, he's only got 2. This guy is scrub tier. Get on my level, Bob. Oh, dude, I loved Futurama so much. That show was so hilarious. And they actually had a guy on the show, one of the writers. I don't remember if he was a PhD, but he had a ton of math education. And he actually created a proof strictly for the show. It was the episode where their brains get swapped between bodies, and the Harlem Globetrotters have to come in to unswap their brains. He created a proof just to use in the show that no matter how scrambled you get in a population of, let's say, people with their brains, adding one additional player, one of the Harlem Globetrotters, would allow you to unscramble it. There was always a path to do it, right? Because the problem was they could swap brains from, like, let's say the professor to Leela, but then they couldn't swap them back. But they could go from Leela to Fry, and then Fry to the professor, and then professor back to Leela. So they could do it in that kind of circle there. So what he showed is you had that kind of closed loop if you just added one more unit as a temporary buffer to move through. There you go. There's your math lesson that you totally didn't ask for the day. Let's fire these up. Did ever some smart writers for the show. Schrodinger's cat episode / horse betting episode were 200 IQ. We're going to validate the winner by electron microscope. That's not fair. You changed the outcome by looking at it. God, Futurama was so funny. It's funny because it was really brilliant because the humor ranged from very simple, Fry doing silly stuff, but then if you knew a little bit more context, you realized what he did was brilliant. What any of the characters did. That's what made it so damn funny. All right, so let's do something here. So from this one, let's spawn an x64 HTTP. So we'll have an HTTP session as Mr. Farmer. And as soon as that one comes back, we'll do the same thing. We'll set it to interactive mode. And we'll have it go. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it went over my head too, because they also would include a lot of those hilarious. Here, let's get this one. They'd also include a lot of those hilarious pop culture references, which I didn't always get. Like, for example, I kind of knew a lot of the memes and the references from The Godfather, but I actually didn't see The Godfather till I was like 34, 35. And the local theater, like, I forget what the name of it was, but it was one of those, it was in Louisiana, and it was one of the ones that you could get like beer and pizza and stuff at, right? They would do like Sunday classics, and they did The Godfather, and I was like, Francine, we gotta go watch this because I've never seen The Godfather. It's one of the best films ever, according to everyone, and we're gonna go get to see it and have pizza. This is an absolute win, and we did, and it was awesome. Hey, there we go. All right, let's set up our socks proxy. Let's do socks. I never remember the syntax. Let's do. So socks 5. Disable no auth. And the user is going to be Bob, and password is going to be Frank. Actually, we need one more. We got to tell what port. This is going to be 1081. There we go. Now we got to turn on Proxifier. We got to be able to proxy these connections. Got the boss music coming in hot for whenever we start the hacks. Alright, so did that work? Good. We have Proxifier up? Good. Good. There we go. Sweet. And now, actually, I wonder if we have a command history for Bob, because what we're going to do is we're going to ask for the TGS. So this is our TGT, remember? First phase authentication with Kerberos, proving that we have access to Bob's account. There we go. Yep, we've got it right here. Oh, sweet. Let me just do a Shift-N there to delete it all. So we're going to paste in our new TGT. And what we're doing is we're telling this one just to pass the ticket in here. We blow this up. So by passing the ticket, Rubius is actually going to grab the TGS and then inject it into our LUID so we can associate to it and we can use it to authenticate. Except I just realized, you know what we just did? We just got a TGS for the SQL server, which is not what we needed. I wanted to be able to do this. How would we do this? We had to do it against the domain controller. Gamer, what's up, brother? How was your day today? I'm hoping it was way better than my day. My day was a struggle session with my technology. All right, let's take a look here. Microsoft.
User H_Proud is online.
Hey, Proud, thanks for coming online, man. Welcome, welcome. We're doing some SCCM hacks tonight. Kerberos names. Let's look at this real quick. Service principal names. Here we go. Let's do that real quick. Let's change this out. So we're going to do Microsoft service principal names. Names cheat sheet. Let's see if some nerd made a cheat sheet. Oh, that sucks, dude. What kind of damage was done? Was it like storm damage? How is service composed of its SPNs? It's not. See if these guys talk about it here. So we have the service name, the host name, the account. So service class, host name, or FQDN import. Yeah, so this I'm familiar with, but what's the service class for like Active Directory? Do we need to do just LDAP? Do we need to do LDAP S? Ugh, dude, that's rough about Allstate. I I hadn't heard great things about Allstate, but I just don't like insurance in general. I think insurance providers are a bunch of crooks, and especially and I say that having also considered becoming an actuary for insurance systems when I was in college. I thought that might be an interesting way to use my math degree. And then I decided, you know what, this is just going to be doing math around death and how to know how much to avoid paying people so that the insurance company always makes a profit and doesn't really actually provide all that great insurance. So know this, insurance is important because it stops you from becoming bankrupt, right? At the same time, insurance is always overpriced. And what do I mean by that? They look at the probability that you're going to have some catastrophic event happen, a car wreck, a fire in your house, you get cancer, and then they're going to charge you premiums based around the risk factors for that. And they're banking that they're going to basically collect more from you than it's going to cost them. And so if you're a high risk, let's say cancer patient, you already previously had cancer, they're going to charge you more because the risk factor's gone up. So they want to charge you just a little bit more that they're going to have to pay out for you. It's a fucking racket. Hate insurance. I did not see that movie, Apollo. What is no Planet? What is reinsurance? I've not heard that term. There's actually insurance providers who insure the insurers. Dude, I'm not surprised. Um, all insurance is pretty much a scam right now, and the unfortunately a lot of areas have just been nickel and diming and squeezing people. Insurance kind of gets a pass because it's like, oh, well, you need it. What if you have something catastrophic happen? It's like, yeah, that could suck, but for 99% of folks, that doesn't happen. So they've got, a huge percentage of people paying in just the case that something might happen. They protect the the solvency of insurance providers. Dude, I can hate insurance. All right, I tell you what, I need to run to the bathroom real quick. I'm gonna run the ads while we're doing that, and then we're gonna actually probably just run this over the beacon, so we're not wasting too much time on this. I was hoping we were gonna find a real quick way to just kind of derive the SPN that we would need, but I'm not seeing that in here. Maybe to the curve TGT SPN, I'm not sure. But anyway, I'll be right back.
User Ralph89 is online.
All right, Joe. All right, let's do this. So to not burn more time on this, let's do this real quick. Actually, I tell you what, I want to do one thing for like some situational awareness. Let's pull up our beacon real fast. Let's run Rubius real quick. Because I really like this idea of understanding when we can and cannot run stuff like from a local Windows attacks box and just proxy it up there, right? So let's run Rubius real quick. So we'll do a Rubius triage on this. Actually, I take it back. We don't want to do that on here. We actually want to connect to our system shell real quick. There we go. Let's look at our graph view. What's that one? All the pretty shells we got. Here we go. That's the one. So here on this system shell, that's where we want to actually run this. So we have full permissions to actually dump everything for the Kerberos tickets. Yeah, so we see a curve TGT right here. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Let's run Rubius as Bob over here. Actually, hold on. Before we do that, we gotta actually AMSI bypass him because remember, this actually, when we did the run as, it forked a new process. So AMSI rehooked to this one, even though it's still unhooked from our previous process. So we're gonna run our payload, AMSI bypass. There we go. And now we can try this. Let's take this out. Okay, so we just have something for the MS SQL service for a TGS. So let's see here. What if instead of our SQL service, we actually forwarded this to this right here, Curve TGT Dev Cyberbotic IO. Let's go try that. So we'll use that same TGT. We're just going to adjust it a little bit here. See what happens. All right, cool. We re-triage this. What do we got? I believe this will actually allow us to be able to authenticate to various systems in here. So let's try something. Actually, dang it, I just realized. Sharp SCCM, the documentation was pretty scant on it, right? So I don't know if it's actually querying things in Active Directory or if it's querying configurations on the box. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's what that local right there means in the. I'm looking at the example command. But let's do this real quick. Let's just run this and see what the help output is. All right, so we tell it what the command is and the options. So the commands are, you can execute something, group of commands to interact with the local workstation or server, group of commands to execute actions on a management point. Okay, so we actually, all that work, we still have to run it over the beacon. All right, fine. Let's do it. We'll do it from our, actually, we'll do it from our low prep shell. Let's see what we can do with Bob here. We need to execute assembly. We're going to tell it local, and we want the site info. Site tac info. I'm going to tell it no banner. There might be a GCIM command for that, but I have no idea what it is. Anybody who tells you they know everything about hacking is just one question away from being found out of fraud. It's just like math. The last mathematician to know everything about math was probably Gauss, and he lived a long time ago. Oh, here we go. So SCM1 Cyberobotic IO is the management. Okay. Let's grab a copy of this real quick. So we'll do, call this situational awareness. Drop that in. I mean, we could always try it. Let's do something. Power pick. Power pick. Get tac help. GCIM. Let's see if it comes back with anything. Get CIM instances. You can do tac examples, I think. See if that comes back. Ah, there you go. It's tac full. That's what it is. Oh, that's cool. It actually tells you what the inputs are in their actual variable types. Nice. Oh, so much data. And actually, I would, if we had the ability to do this here, that would be really badass. Examples. Let's not do that. Let's do SCCM. This guy says, I'm a server admin and I really delve into packaging OS deployments, yada, yada, yada. Just point your SMS provider to it. I don't think that's what I was actually looking for. Yeah. All right. Don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. There be dragons down that path. This tool right here actually is, I'm reading from the notes here though, but it's using WMI under the hood to get that information, so. I didn't realize that, Planet, actually, so that's good to know. So maybe I should become better acquainted with it. And if I say maybe, I was like, I should. All right. Yeah, so here's actually the equivalent get WMI object. This is from the course here. And I would have never known how to like create this one. So you look at the SMS authority with the namespace root SCCM and select the name and the current management point. So it gives you the same kind of information in here. Interesting. WMI object is that when accesses the Windows database, it always attempts to do a repair regardless of status. Oh, I did not know that. Let's do something else here. Let's actually get a little bit of awareness on. Just for grins and giggles, I'm going to grab this. Just so we can have a copy of the command in our notes. What we'll do is we'll say same data from everyone. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing here, except we're gonna tell it to get the information for the domain. So we'll tell it domain cyberobotic.io. And we're going to tell it, again, no banner. Yeah, this should be it. Local site info. Yeah. Oh, no, that's not local. This is going to be a get. We're changing the command here. So get the site info for site robotica. Ooh, every time it freezes like that. Okay, so that's a little underwhelming piece of information just because... Actually, no, this is good to know, though. I'll tell you why. Because what if this machine is not managed by SCCM, right? Then this info won't show up. But if we query the domain for it, then we can see what the domain system is. So different point of view, different piece of data. But they they mesh with each other. So if we wanted to enumerate more information out of SCCM itself, we've got to have some kind of SCCM permission, which Nina Lamb probably does. We do have access to Nina's account. J King might, because J King is a workstation and server admin. So it kind of works. Those two probably would. Bob, it doesn't make sense for him to have SCCM access because he's a developer. So SCCM permissions, they're role-based. And like the base tier one is basically a read-only analyst, somebody that just can just read data from the database. Look at this real quick. Just a quick breakdown of the security roles here. Of course, they would list this in... They would list this in alphabetical order rather than like security order. Because there's a read-only analyst in here. There we go. That just lets it view the configuration options. But then there's all these other configuration sets in here. All right. Let's see if we can... Let's see if Bob actually has any permissions to do this. So what we can do is we can still use the get command, but we can tell it get collections. So rather than site info, tell it get collections. This should tell us how the machines are grouped. I don't know if we need to supply it the TAC D. I'm going to give it the D. Apparently we don't. So let's take that out first. Wish we could put that no banner at the beginning. Here we go. Let's copy this over into Word so we can read it a little bit easier and we'll clean it up along the way. Let's make a note here, checking collections. We're going to start from the top down. Let's take this out. That's cool. It even tells you which WQL query it's using. Nice. Let's take this out. So we've got one collection here. Collection type number 2 with 6 members in it. Name is dev, so this probably applies to the dev domain. And we've got this other collection here. So these have different identifiers too. This is identifier basically 14, this is identifier 15. And this one's cyber. So this one, just taking an educated guess, probably applies to the parent domain. Okay, makes sense. And that's a logical breakdown of these. So one thing to keep in mind also whenever you're exploring these networks for your clients, or just, I mean, even like in a hack the box, multi-box environment, CTF, it can be, there should be a lot of logical jumps between how things are delineated, how they're grouped, how they're separated. There's usually some logic to it. You got to get inside the system designer's mind a little bit. A lot of times they're very logical groupings. Other times they're just completely irrational, and you can tell the person probably didn't sleep a lot when they designed it. All right, so in this case we've got 2. Yeah, what was the command we were? Just get collections. Yep, that's it. Just get collections. So it looked at what so we're connecting to the root SCCM, which is the client configuration manager. Checked the configuration endpoint, which was SCM TAC 1. Checked the site code, and then it connected to it with the site. Okay. This is probably a well-known pattern right here, how this works. Sweet. Okay, so we know we've got 2 sites in here. So we have a foothold into the cyber domain on SQL Server 1, right? Last time we compromised SQL Server 2, we were able to pivot and compromise SQL Server 1 over the SQL link. Let's do something here. Let's actually go fire that up. We should actually get a DNS beacon back from this whenever we log in, because we did the backdoor as a scheduled task. It would fire as any user whenever they log in. Let that just kind of load up a little bit. So let's do something. So we were doing this all as Bob. We make a token. I'm gonna look for something real quick. We want to impersonate J King, right? There's got to be the domain, user, and password. All right, I'm pretty sure we have J King's password in here. Let me rearrange this. You go down here. Yeah, we got so many note sections in here. Dang. Let's come over here. Let's say this. Did we get J King's actual clear text password? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Somewhere along the way, we were probably supposed to have dumped it. We just didn't note it. But that's okay. So what we can do though is we actually know J King's password. I was trying to see, did we have it in our notes so we could, act like we're treating this like a kind of a real red team exercise. In reality, when we were doing those sections, I had actually perfected whatever note-taking methodology I was going to use in the lab. So that's probably a critical piece of information I should have had that I missed. But one thing we can do is we actually know her password is just QWERTY123 with a capital Q. So we'll just make a token for J King. Actually, I'm curious if make token will actually work. Because I wonder if this is going to work with Bob. Be interesting to see. Actually, there we go. So it made us a net-only token impersonating Bob. Perfect. Fantabulous. So now what if we run our collections again? We see them differently because J King is like a support engineer. manages all the servers and workstations. Let's see what his view is. Let's see what his view of the SCCM landscape is. Last name Win32 account Sid. I mean, does that give you your current user's security identifier? Is that what that's doing? Oh, it gives you way more than that. It tells you what the domain is. Okay, so yeah, so domain workstation 2. Okay, so these are, I ran this from the system account, so make sure that, oh, here we go. We got stuff from the dev account too. Gives you as many SIDs as you can access with your credentials. Nice. Handy. We got MySQL service, Squid service, Honey service. I wonder what the Honey service is doing. We saw this when we were doing Kerberos. And to reiterate for everybody, that's why doing targeted things, especially like, I know some of y'all are studying for the OSCP. Badass. My recommendation is actually do less scanning. Don't go balls to the walls and hit it and throw the kitchen sink at it and every damn nmap switch you can at it. No. Just do a port scan. And then go through and manually enumerate maybe a couple of those ports as you come through. Say, okay, cool. So what's listening on this port? What kind of information can I get from that? And start slowly building the picture. Because what happens is if you run those big, massive scans, now you've got a lot of data to grok all at once. And that can lead to analysis paralysis. It happened to me the very first time I took the OSCP, and I wasn't able to complete it. And it was a very obvious exploit looking back on it that I should have been able to see. The second time I went through it, I probably did about 20% of the scanning that I did the first attempt, and I destroyed that test. So that is the best way to do it. Take it slow, take it targeted, be tactical with your scans. Honeypot.dev. Hey, there we go. It actually did no phishing allowed. Nice. Thank you for the IR test there, Planet. Appreciate that. All right. Then what were we doing? Oh, we were running this over here. So if we look at collections, so now we're impersonating J. King, right? And we ran the collections thing again. Interesting. So J. King actually only has access to the dev container. You see that? For some reason, Bob has access to dev and cyber. That sounds like it's a major misconfiguration. Does it tell us what permissions he had, though? Let's look at this again. Go back over to our SCCM notes. Did this tell us what permissions Bob had? We know he had some permission in here. He could be the lowest of the low. It doesn't actually tell us what his permission set is. But what I know what's going on here. What's happened is Bob has that read access to dev and cyber, to both those collections. Whereas J. King only has whatever his level access is to the dev container or dev collection. That's why he only sees the dev collection in here. Dude, learning's like, it's never ending learning, bro. Never. Right now, actually, the thing I'm struggling with is not any like elite hacker stuff. It's managing an Apache server and understanding the flow of how it's loading stuff up to front end my man in the middle server to collect Office 365 credentials. So, I thought I knew more about managing Apache and configuring it than apparently I did. I seriously overestimated myself. So that's been my biggest struggle, is actually just making sure I can trace that flow essentially all the functionality that I need to for this fishing campaign I'm working on is there. But there's a second part to it. Getting it functional is good, but then there's a theatrical part to fishing where it has to look the part, right? So I say I'm playing dress up with my fishing site. I want it to look and present certain pieces of information to entice them to log in and try to make it as easy as possible. So probably what I suspect here, actually I just saw it in the notes here. So what's his name? So Jay King is a full administrator, but just for the dev collection. And Bob is an analyst, but for both collections. That's what the difference is here. Let's see who our administrators are. You know what the downside to I wish we could steal this token after we made it, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna rev to self. So I want to be able to run as Bob again. I want to run this, but rather than get collections, I'm gonna get class instances of SMS_admin. Admin, and we'll tell it no banner again. Let's see who our admins are here, because then we might know, hey, if we need to make an adjustment to it, we compromise them, then who can we get access to? Oh goodness, that was a lot of data that came back. We have multiple administrators. Let's go copy this over into our notes and clean it up real quick. Hit copy. Wait, that was our get collections. Passed it. There we go. So get instances of SMS app. Copy this over here. Finding SMS admin accounts. Let's go clean it up. Man, it dumped a lot of data. Okay. So a whole lot of these receive outputs here. We want a little bit of this flavor in here, not like this. Clean this up. Awesome, timed that well, because I ran the ads while we were cleaning all this up, so nobody would miss anything cool. All right, well, so let's take a look at the info. So we're selecting star from SMS admins right here. So who are our admin accounts? Let's see. Okay, so the local administrator is an admin. Makes sense. Oh, this was created by. What's the login name? Here we go. SCCM1 administrator. Okay, so domain admins, right? Which we have one. We have Nina Lamb. Actually, she's not a cyber domain admin. She's the dev domain admin. So we don't have one. Dev developers or administrators. I want to be surprised, and people would want to say this is kind of CTF-like. Who would do this? a lot of people would do this. Because sometimes when you just can't fix shit, you just throw extra permissions at it. We're just going to throw some permissions at the wall and see what sticks. Actually, look at this. So also support engineer. So that just made everybody an SCCM admin. Too funny. All right, let's take a look here. So if we also wanted to see the members of a collection name, this is actually a little bit different order because I would like to have this a little bit different here. Let's come back up, actually. I want to insert some notes up here because this was checking on collections, but we were still kind of looking at the, checking our collections names. So we want to, let's see if we can see who's in dev and cyber. Let's come up here. So we're going to do the get collection members. And then we're going to give it the name of dev. So we're going to tell it what, we want to see what systems exist in that dev collection. Okay, cool. So we got quite a bit of output back from that. We see DC2, Web, Workstation 2, Workstation 1, SQL 2. So all systems, the file server, all systems we've compromised. All right, cool. Now, who's in the cyber collection? Dude, I'm learning all this SCCM shit as we go along, GoPro. This is all... I understand a lot of the theory, right? But one thing that's been so great about the RTO course is it has taken a lot of theory and understanding, actually understanding from the pen testing side, and helped me translate it into practical knowledge and on the red team side. So it's been very cool. You can kind of think of it almost like penetration testing is kind of like your infantry, right? They're the ground forces that are going to go through and probably win the battle, right? But your red team is kind of like your special operations, special forces. Hacker. I am pro hacker. I have skill of 1,000 hacker. And I'm so skillful, I forgot to hit the damn enter button to send the command. I've just been sitting here staring like a dumbass. One day. You know, it's actually, I have to remind myself, I've only been doing this for about 2 months now. And it's already improved quite a bit. So I'll be really interested to see where my own personal skill set is in my development of like presenting data. I'm trying to actually correct my speech a lot. I'm trying to cut out all those filler words like or duh. I'm trying to get rid of those. So I'm trying to be very conscious of how I'm speaking. And I've already noticed just for the last 2 weeks of me trying to make that improvement, I've had a big change in my speeching pattern. God is not without a sense of irony. He's like, oh, you say you speak so good? Bam! Speeching pattern. And you know what? It is, Rails. It's brutal watching your own streams, and it's hella helpful, right? For 2 reasons. One, you got to know where you're messing up. You've got to get, feedback on it. The downside to it, though, is it can be exceptionally brutal, right? Because you're always going to be fighting your own mind. And it fights completely dirty. It knows where all your weak spots are, and it will just hit them and hammer them. And it knows how to kind of twist you to get you to take the soft route, right? Like, oh, you know what? It's going to be really emotionally draining to watch my video tonight. Maybe I'll just skip it this night. Skipped it last night. Maybe I'll just skip it again. You know what? You really got that thing you need to do? Let's go take care of that. Being able to control that little voice in your mind, I call it the little mind bitch. Keeping the little mind bitch in check is hella important. And it gets exhausting at first. Once you get used to it, then you can keep pushing it and be able to have a lot more self-discipline. I have to still do it too. It's a constant effort. It requires vigilance. let's see here. Oh, that's right. We were looking at the members of the cyber collection here. Not too much actually in the cyber collection. Get down, Panda. I let my fingers drop. She's like, nom. Eat fingers. Do not eat my fingers, dog. All right, let's see. If you solve a problem on stream, at the end of the stream, you know the solution, and you're just watching yourself slowly solve it, thinking, man, I was an idiot. Why did it take me so long to solve that? So thankfully, I have watched through my career when I was teaching in the Cisco lab, and then just a bunch of the mentoring I've done with people on my own team at my current job. I've been through that process so many times. I try to cut myself more slack for it. It's like, hey, you got to remember, all those people you coach through similar problems, you're in that same boat, except you're coaching yourself and you're telling yourself what a dumbass you are. So it wouldn't be fair to call one of your juniors a dumbass because they're not getting something that's not productive. Don't do it to yourself. That is way easier said than done, but that's the approach I attempt to take with myself. Clean up these notes a little bit. So what do we have here, actually? Let's look at what we have. So our first box that we had here was SQL 1, which we have a shell on. Oh, the mail server. The mail server is in the parent domain. SCCM 1. Nice. We're going to go pop that here soon. And then what else do we got here? Yeah, there we go. And then also the domain controller. Oh, so the domain controllers, the DC1, the parent domain controller is in here. Nice. So there's actually 3 levels of hierarchy in this lab here. For those of you who don't know, we're down here at the base station, right? We're in the dev domain. Above this, it's got a parent of the cyber domain. So that's the one we're working on compromising right now. We were able to pivot from here to here using a SQL link. And then the next thing that's actually going to come up here is there's actually an MSP domain up here. We haven't discovered this yet. I know it's there though because I cheated and I looked ahead in the notes. But we're going to work on getting up to this MSP domain because this actually is a real attack pattern I have not personally done, but I've had buddies who are in the industry tell me about where they've compromised all the way up to the MSP. And then by virtue of that, they've actually compromised every one of the MSP's clients. Not good. Very, very not good. Double plus ungood. If you get the Orwellian reference. Let's try it. There's another variant of this command we can run. I wonder what kind of info we're going to get. Knock all this out. So we can tell it to get devices. And okay, so we can search by the device name, and we can also specify certain properties to display. So we could say get the name, and then we give it another property like the full domain name. And I'm pretty sure these are the same properties that just align with what we got out of here. Nope. Okay, so I don't know where we get the list of this actual properties at if we wanted to do this. But we're going to run this as it's kind of presented, and we'll see what we get back. We can also do tac p last log on username. Then we select no banner. Hey Rails, what time do you normally stream? Like, what's your schedule typically? So I want to say I saw you online earlier today, like kind of middle of the day. At least it's middle of the day for my time zone. Look at this. Workstation 2 shows no last login username. I wonder if that means it hasn't had like a console login since the machine booted up. So let's go actually test this real fast. Let's go over to Workstation... Is that Workstation 1? Yeah, Workstation 1. Let's go connect to it real quick, and we'll force a connection. And then we're going to query that again. We'll let that kind of boot up a little bit. Let's get our event log here. So we haven't had like a new beacon call back yet. Yeah, all these are ones we've already checked in with and we've adjusted. So we're gonna wait for that Workstation 1 beacon to come back to us. Okay, so you likely start around 8 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. Dude, are they already in the hockey playoffs? Man, I like hockey. I just don't... I only get to watch like an hour of TV a week. Like, I'll watch a shit ton of YouTube, because I can kind of have it on the side monitor during the day. But actual, like, sit down and watch TV time, it's non-existent right now. Like, I might get an hour on Saturday, maybe an hour on Sunday. So my wife and I are going very slowly through shows. I think we're in the middle of watching Reacher Season 2. How late do you usually stream? Because you'll be starting about 9 o'clock my time, so I'm in Central Time. And usually I'll go for like 3 hours, so I'm usually wrapping up around midnight Eastern. Okay, so this didn't call back for some reason. Sitting here waiting for this callback to happen. I tell you what, well, we don't actually need the callback to happen. We know it's logged in here. Let's go requery SCCM. Because right now, it's showing that Workstation 2 had no last login. Well, we just logged into Workstation 2. Let's see if it will actually come up. Usually stream about an hour and a half to 2 hours. All right. That's cool. Okay, so it hasn't come up here. I know this is not instantaneous on the logging. There is a delay between, like, when the stuff is recorded by the SMS. I forget what it's called. Whatever the agent that's running on the endpoint is. And maybe the ECM. But there's a delay between... It's not streaming this data up to SCCM. There's like a 5-minute delay, if I remember right. Cool. What were you going over yesterday? Yeah, because I remember you raided over here yesterday. Copy this real quick. I'm just going to run the version of the command that's in the notes. I want to see what kind of, if I was something I'm just missing that's crucial about this piece of information. Oh, that's right. You're doing that in Godot. Hell yeah. I was watching a Godot developer earlier today. I didn't watch it very long because the game he was making wasn't really enticing, but I tried. It's still a raid. Still counts. That's pretty cool, though. You can get, like, the IP address and the last login. Interesting that the last login's still not showing up, though. Did we get any virus notices on here? I'm curious why we're not getting a call back from Workstation 2. Because we had multiple backdoors on Workstation 2, if I remember right. We had an OU script backdoor, and then we had another one. And in fact, actually, we have, look at that, we have beacons from Workstation 2, right here. And Workstation 1. Yeah, so we actually, I mean, why did we not see this from Workstation 2 here? So, because we've got these logins here, it's working. We got those almost immediately. Did we get any alerts lately? So it's 4:16 a.m. on the box on this 23rd. We ain't got jack on here, so nothing's been detected. I just don't know why it's not calling back. Oh, it's not important. It was just more of a curiosity. Doing those side quests. Oh, cool. There's also a way to actually filter by a last user to log in. So let's say we take out the attack in parameter. Actually, let's go back a little bit. Going back. I'm just going to wipe all this out. So we want to tell it to get devices. And we're going to pass it. We want to see everywhere that Nina's logged in, right? We can query this. We can see where Nina's logged in. Maybe we don't have access to Nina's account. We can say, oh, well, she logged in on this system. We can get on that system. We can steal her token and be able to authenticate as her. So we want to go now is the IP address and maybe the IP subnets. And then we also want to get the name. I'm testing this out. I want to see if is it case sensitive? We need to specify like capital N name. Oh, okay, so it's actually taking that raw text and inserting it into the select statement. So it is most definitely case sensitive. So we got to change this. So username in lam is correct, but we got to do capital IPA here. And then, that's addresses. And then IP subnets, because it needs an IPS. Yep. And then we got to have capital N in the name here. So those are case sensitive fields we're injecting. Damn, I can't believe how we've been on for 2 hours already. Holy shit. Time is just flying by. We might have a little later stream tonight because I really want to get through the SCCM section because it's not going to make a lot of sense to kind of break this up into 2 days. Plus, tomorrow we're streaming with Salty. So I don't want to have to split this across 3 days to get it taken care of. So maybe we'll have a little bit of a late stream tonight. Okay, yeah, we can see that. That's where Workstation 1 comes in. I actually want to copy this one because this is another good of those situational awareness things to know where a user last logged in at. Because this shit's not tracked by default in Active Directory. You can make extensions to Active Directory to track these kind of things, but by default they don't. SCCM does track this. Intune will track this also. Let's see. I'm just going to plop this down here. Clean it up just a smidgen. Yep, that's good enough. All right, cool. So that's hella important too. So if you can use SCCM to figure out where a user last logged in at, then you've got a good target for finding it. And also, if anybody's ever used Bloodhound, Bloodhound will tell you, oh, hey, by the way, if you can get access to user X has an escalation path such as this to get to domain or enterprise admin or to some other high-value target group or system. So this would be a great way to kind of track those down, right? You could bird dog those and then go input that information into Bloodhound. Oh, actually, so there's a note here in the course. This info is actually only updated every 7 days. Way to get me all excited over nothing. Oh, that's funny. So one thing to note also is these machines have to be able to pull down packages that are hosted on SCCM, right? We've done we've done attacks where we backstored stuff in like open domain level shares, right? Like on DC2. We put stuff in the software share that was our beacons that we could call back and run. So there's two options here. If it's got to be able to access a network share on the SCCM, right? Well, the machine is actually the account doing this. So the machine account from Active Directory would be the thing that's doing it. However, you can manage non-AD joined machines in SCCM. And so what they have is they have network access account credentials. And so those are the domain credentials intended to be used by these machines to access the SPDs over the network. So there are machines that aren't domain joined, but they can use domain creds to authenticate to the shares on the SCCM to download their install packages. So let's make a note of that. Let's see. Finding. Let's spell it out. Network access. Okay, let's do SCCM. Let's go take a look at this. So we're still doing, and what's awesome also, notice this, guys. We're not doing this from the system shell. We're doing this from Bob's low privilege user shell. So this is badass. We're going to use sharp SCCM again. And we're going to tell it local and AA. Let's just run that. Oh, damn it. I forgot to tell it no banner. Let this guy run. Oh, we got to tell it what method to use. We'll tell it to use WMI. And then we can tell it no banner. That banner just takes up extra cycles, and I don't want to go delete it every time I'm putting shit in notes. Sharp SCCM must be run with local administrative privileges to receive the policy secret blobs. Okay, so this was an issue we ran into where we couldn't get a high integrity process with Bob because our UAC bypass tricks were not working. They were getting flagged by Defender. But we have a system shell, so eat it. How will you know if updates are available to install without the banner? I don't. Uh-oh. What just happened there? We lost our system shell. That's no good. Hold on, let's go look at this. This is workstation 2. Interesting. I wonder what flagged. Because I'm guessing something flagged on it. It killed our system shell. We did an exec assembly, right? Yeah. So it probably wasn't AMSI because exec assembly has the AMSI bypasses built into it. Let's see, it's 3:25 a.m. on the box. Look at our protection history. Okay, so it's trying to do a sample submission here. 325. That wasn't working. Once it was to turn it on. But we don't actually have anything flagged here. Maybe it's just holding up the process.
User Amakos 2020 is online.
Hey Amakos, thanks for coming online, man. Welcome, welcome. We're just doing little hacky hacks on a glorious Monday, which was not a glorious Monday, it was a pain in the ass. This is so weird. I wonder what caused this to happen. We could always restart our system shell because this was a backdoored service binary that we put in here. Or actually, we just replaced the service binary. We didn't backdoor it, per se. All right. What was the service called? It was like Vold service. Let's see. What was that command? PowerShell.
User void of 1 is online.
Dude, I love that modem sound. That's so many nostalgia berries for me. Thanks for coming on live, Void. Welcome, welcome. What am I gonna do? List services. There you go. So just get service. And I'm pretty sure it was just Vuln service. I think that was the name of it. Let's come back over to Bob here. Where are we doing this? Where's our interactive show? There we go. We'll do this in Power Pick again. So let's do, what was it called? Yeah, just get service. Let's see if it will just list out the services, because I know the name of it, and then I just need to tell it to restart the service. URSTUV. So Vuln Service 3 is running. I think we tell it name. Vuln Service 3. Let's see if that works. Yeah, so that got it. And then we got the status, we have to display it. So what we want to do is then expand it. So I'm kind of new to the channel. I want to understand the premise here. Is this a lab environment you're working on something else? Oh yeah, so this is do exclamation point RTO. This is 0 Point Security's Red Team Operator course. Oh damn it, there's a typo in there. Just noticed that. So this course is for learning how to do red team operations. So one of the great things about it though is you're coming in and you're using doing everything over a C2 channel. This is a big shift for me personally. I've been a penetration tester for 6 years. A lot of times that was me taking a laptop on site or connecting to a client's network over a VPN, or sometimes like just working from a virtual machine in their environment. So I want to be able to do more of these things over these C2 channels and be able to do some more of these red team operations. So that's what we're going through right now. 1 sec, let me go fix this. RTO has typo. There we go. Fix that. Bang, RTO. There we go. So that has the correct link right there to it. It's a really great course too. I'd give it probably a 9 out of 10. Hey, no problem, dude. Dude, this is a total like educational stream. You got questions, I've got answers. And if I don't have answers, I'll baffle you with bullshit. I can't dazzle you with brilliance. Oh, we got ads starting up here in just a second. Let me see if I can figure out which vulnerable service it was here. Unique display name. That's not what I want. What I want is get that service binary path. Oh, here we go. We can do it with GSIM, like what Planet was recommending. There you go. Let's copy this. All right, ads are just about done. Let's do services MSC. Cool, ads are done. So that's awesome. Saiji watch. I'm assuming that's how I'm going to say it. I'm notoriously bad at mispronouncing names. I try really hard, but trying just gets me the bronze at best. So you're coming from a legal world trying to dip your toes into cybersecurity. Awesome. A lot of this is what I would say is start with is something like the Sec Plus, and the reason I say that is because it is very introductory. So it's going to kind of get you a nice floor level, especially if you're not super techie yet. I'm not saying you can't be. I've seen people like switch into this like as a second career. You know, they've had an established career they're working, and then they just took a hard left over into technology. And yes, what Apollo said is great. You're going to have a better understanding of the laws than your average pen tester. I'm going to close this, whatever this is. It says Vuln Service 3 is running. Look at the properties here. Startup type is automatic. What about recovery? Interesting. I don't remember what Service 3 is, though. Let's do something real quick. Let's run a net stat. We're going to look at what TCP ports we've got listening here. Okay, so we actually still have 31337 listening. So it looks like when our beacon died, it recovered. So let's just connect back to it. So connect to our local host, 1337. There we go. So let's look at our graph view. Here we go. So watch, this is an example here. So we have like a single team server that's running right here. This is all these different backdoors that allow us to get command and execution on these boxes calling home. And you can even chain those together. That's what I just did here. So these both run on the same system, but they're different processes. This one's a kind of like average user process. This one is called a system process. Lets us have all the God mode permissions on the system. So I can split where I'm doing these things at. Things that require extra permissions, I can do over here. Things that I want to do as this user, be farmer, because different users have different permissions, I can do over here. So now we're back into this. Let's see if we can go read that stuff again. I wouldn't know why it crashed when we did that. I'm going to try it again, though. All right, so let's try this over mirror. That one's dead, so we can close it. Wait, did it come back? Oh, it did come back. Okay. Interesting. All right, let's try this again. So we're going to tell it to look for NAA. Let's see if the beacon dies again. If so, we're going to know that something's being flagged in here, but nothing showed up in our virus panel. Don't tell about the servers you scanned that you weren't supposed to because the client failed to remove old IP addresses of the rules of engagement. Bruh. Bruh. Oh my gosh, yeah. So what the hell's happening here? I wonder why this is failing. We tried this with... I'm gonna try running this again. I want to see if did we lose our other... our HTTP beacon, which we didn't. This ran just fine from Bob. But for some reason on our system shell, it just didn't. Okay, let's try something else here. I think we can just reconnect to it. I don't know why it's causing the connection to die. Yeah, look, and we're still back where we were. That is funky. Let's try something else. There's actually a different method we can use. Rather than querying the Windows management interface, we can actually just read it from the disk. Let's try that. Come on, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Oh, damn it. I've read it in the wrong one again. Alright, so let's change this to disk. All right, so now we're running it in the correct beacon. Let's see what happens. Still disconnected. That is funky. Let's try something here real quick. I don't know if that's going to work. All right, let's reconnect over to it. I tell you what, let's do this. Let's come over here. Let's say maybe there's something corrupted in the beacon. We're going to actually tell this beacon to exit, and then we're going to remove it. We're going to kill that beacon. Let's query the status of our service again. Does this tell us what the status is? Is it running? Status is running, so let's see if it recovered. Can we just connect back to it? Okay, so it's not. So this is probably lying to us here that it says it's running. Do it. I can tell it to do a restart on service 3 here. And then let's try connecting to it again. It also may not be that service, right? What are you doing here? I don't want to reboot the box. What are you doing, son? Let me think about this. My window just spazzed out on me. So the tech box came back. Yeah, I think the next major upgrade I do, I'm going to try and split the streaming system and the production system to different machines because I keep getting these weird like blip outs. It probably has to do with I have probably 10,000 tabs open, right? And every IT person I know has that same issue. Did I refresh you already? Come on. Let's reconnect. Let's close this one. We don't need that one anymore. Hey, Void, thanks for subscribing, dude. I appreciate that. I still need to go get some badass... I have a really great idea for how I want to redo the overlay. Orange spazzing is Windows specialty. You're not joking, dude. I find curports.exe is great. I haven't actually seen curports. What's that? Now the downside to, so I really like this lab. Who was asking about it earlier? Oh, it was Watch asking about it earlier. Yeah, so this lab is really great. I give it like the lab, the curriculum, the pricing. It's like a solid 9 out of 10. It's really great. One of the detractors is the lab is 100% isolated. And I've talked to Rostamaus, the creator of the course, and I understand what the reason for that is. Doesn't mean I necessarily have to like it, but I do understand it. I'm not upset about it. But that means I can't pull in cool tools that I might want to try in the lab. Oh, very cool. I had not seen this. This is kind of neat. This reminds me of Process Hacker, but for network stuff. Network monitoring software that displays the list of all currently open TCP/IP UDP ports on the local machine. For each port in the list, the information about the current process is open display. Nice. So this is not so much a network issue. This is like a weird binary issue. Because what happens here is, let's just go ahead and do a full stop. Stop. You die. It might actually not be Vuln Service 3. I forget which one we backdoored. But I'm going to do a start on this one. Okay, so that one's not functional. What about this one? I think it might have been Vuln Service 1 that we backdoored. But let's go look real quick. So, but unfortunately, yeah, that's one of the things we can't do is we can't bring in outside binaries into the lab. There's a way you can work around it where you could base64 encode the tool or the binary you want to bring in, drop it in here with a copy and paste, but you're limited to really small tools just for practicality purposes. DFIR watching, Red Team still owes me a beer or two. The best, I'll tell you this, the best story I ever had of one of the guys on my team getting caught is he just completely owned this company's systems. And one thing he did is he went into the HR system and he added himself to the HR system as an employee. And I think he said his, he didn't want to like have to do like any of the direct deposit stuff. So he set his salary to 0. Well, apparently that was caught and it was flagged on hard. So the DFIR guys for that company that we were contracted to pen test looked him up, found his home address, and they sent him a cookie cake saying, "Welcome to the company." It was awesome. Let's go hack and erase debt. Bro, if I could, I probably would. Yeah, it was badass. He brought the cookie cake in for us to share at work. Now, if they did that, I'd be like, sorry, I can't eat cookie cake. Hey, Oreo. What's up, dude? How's your night going, man? Let's see. What are we looking for? None of these commands. That's not what we're looking for. Let's run a net stat again. We have 31337 open and listening. We do. Okay. So we now can connect back to our local port. So this is so Orange. What we're doing here, this isn't a network connection, but it's a TCP on the local loopback. So this process here is actually connected to our C2 over an HTTP channel, right? Then it's connected over TCP to a separate process on the same system that's running a system on the same machine. Everyone with peanut allergies. Yeah, no kidding. Still try to record stuff. I would rather edit videos, not record them. I know, dude. Hey, Oreo, did you see Network Chuck's interview with Dave Bromble? Actually, I should take that back. It's Dave Bromble's interview of Network Chuck. And he actually talks about his content creation process and stuff there. So it might be worth to go watch that interview to see what tips you can glean from him. He talks about like a little bit like the script writing and the editing and stuff like that. He has actually a really cool explanation too on how he chroma keys his stream setup so he can actually write on the screen. That would be badass. Be able to just like come right on this. It'd be so damn cool. Except I don't want to go buy the tech to do that. His content is too basic, but his production quality is very high. That's what you need to copy. I'm not saying become the next Network Chuck. I'm saying learn what he's doing well and steal that part, like a good hacker. That's what we do. We find out what's working well, and we steal it, we repurpose it. Let's go try this one more time. So this beacon is dead. I'm going to try this shit again. We're going to try it the regular way. We're going to try it with WMI. And then if that doesn't work, then we'll try it with disk. I need to set up the betting pool thing in here so I can have y'all tell me, it's like, hey, what's the betting pool on whether or not this is going to crash the beacon. Predictions. Dude, yeah, I don't know why it keeps crashing the beacon whenever we do that. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Clear this. Let's connect back to the beacon here. So odd. What we need is... Let me think about this. What we need is we need an elevated process. So, quick review how these Windows processes work. You have 3 levels of integrity for processes. You got low, which hardly anything uses, maybe the rarest of processes. Most everything's running as a medium integrity process, which is what this blue one is here. It has normal stuff that you can do, but it's limited to a lot of the higher level administrative stuff. Those different tasks, like reading particular pieces of data in memory, right? So when you do like a UAC prompt, right, you get this. Let me show you. So we get this prompt here. So like if I run PowerShell and I do Control-Shift-Enter to run it as administrator, this is the UAC prompt, the user account control right here. So whenever I run this, what happens now is I have an administrator system. This is a high integrity process. That's what this is right here. This is a system shell. This is an account running as the actual computer, right? The computer has its own account, and it's a high integrity process. That's why it's got these little red lightning bolts coming off of it. Drop a lol bin for Privesk? I would like to, except we don't really have any lol bins in here. The main Privesk method we had was attacking the service binaries, or what was the other one? Doing like UAC bypasses. However, we actually turned on Defender in the lab. So the usual path for going through the RTO course is you go through the course material. At the end, there's instructions on how to turn on Defender in the domain. And then you go back through and you run through them again to see which one of these things are operationally sound to do. What has good OPSEC, what has bad OPSEC. I decided, after that, we're just going to turn on Defender from the get-go, and we're going to hit it. So I don't know if it's anything in particular that might be causing that, but what we need is, we need permissions as bfarmer, but administrative. So we can cheese this if we wanted to. What we could do is this. We actually have this command here that will actually get us a callback beacon. At least it should. So let's just do that for the sake of time, because I really want to get through this SCCM stuff tonight. So for all my new folks coming in, this is pretty much every day of the week except Fridays. That's my night off to go spend with the wife and the kids. But then Tuesday and Thursday we also do a kind of like learning mentoring stream with my buddy Salty Demon 86, my Marine Corps brother from another mother. Love the dude. He wanted to start learning about cybersecurity, so we're playing a game called Greyhack. So let me drop that here. Greyhack is very cool. It's a lot of fun. So we play that game, and it's teaching him actually a lot of cool concepts. It has a full coding engine in it, too. You can go really deep with the coding. Some guy completely recreated the Metasploit framework, or like an approximation of it, in the game. And he's got the code up on GitHub. There's tons of GitHub repos about it. My go-to is FOD helper manually, but that got caught last time. Yeah. A lot of these things are getting caught by behavioral analysis, Oreo. So, but we can take this, and we can paste in. No, that's not what I wanted to paste in. Copy. Paste. There we go. And what this should do is actually give us a new beacon callback. And we ran it as an administrative PowerShell, so it should give us an administrative callback. So if we look at our event log, let's see, it's... No, we haven't got a callback yet. Did we get anything? Let's see. Oh, you know what? That might have given us another DNS callback, which is not what we want. Let's see. Yeah, damn it. That was a DNS beacon in that payload. What that was just a base 64 encoded command to download and run something, but that's not what we wanted. So let's go adjust that real quick. Let's go back to our notes. And we already have some prepared code that we want to run in here. Let's see which one we want to run. SMB, TCP, TCP local. Let's actually run. Which one of these has HTTP? That's DNS. We don't actually have one to run an HTTP back. Okay, let's make that real fast. And the reason we're having to dance around which type of protocol we're having to call back to us is because there's a web proxy in the environment. So anything that wants to call back to us on the internet inside the lab has to be able to go through that web proxy if it's making web traffic. And only certain users are allowed to do that. So system accounts aren't allowed to do that. So what we'll do is I'm going to drop this in here, and we're going to change this to HTTP. That's going to load up our HTTP beacon. In fact, let's double check that real quick. Let's go to our site management. So HTTP is, yeah, right here. Okay, cool. So that is loading up our x64 PS1. Perfect. So trying to slowly rewrite evasion in Python and still have no idea why one of the runners caught Metasploit just by typing shell that would use to drop a command from interpreter. Still have no idea. Did you look at so Defender will tell you, Oreo, if it detects something by static analysis or heuristic analysis, behavioral analysis, right? So if you look here, we go to let's see, protection history. Let's look at some of these things that it blocked. Hello, Panda. My puppy. There we go. So it'll say detected behavior, and you'll see like what was the behavior, the process ID, etc. So looking at this will give you an idea of how it's catching it. Yeah. Well, probably it depends because I don't know how Interpreter does its execution. I think it does a similar fork and run pattern as the beacons do. So for anybody who doesn't know,
User Zen_Brazil is online.
hey Zen, what's up, man? Thanks for coming online. All right, so here's how this works. What we're going to have here is we're going to have our we'll call this our C2 server, command and control. And then we're going to have the workstation computers calling back to it. Right? So it goes like this. Well, on this workstation computer, we're going to have a process running our beacon. That's what's actually allowing us to get code execution on the system. Well, if the beacon dies, we lose all of our connection to it. So if you're running commands, you don't want to run those in the context of the beacon, because you don't want to kill the beacon potentially. So every time you run a command, the beacon does something called a fork and run. So it makes a sub-process here. And then as soon as it's done, that sub-process dies and it's gone. Okay. Stop it. Quit changing my lines. So probably what's happening is this fork and run, Oreo might be what's catching on it. Why would it be caught in shell dropping from interpreter to command in one runner, but works fine with another runner? So you talk about you have interpreter implanted in a different a different you have interpreter implanted in two different runners, right? Let me snooze the ads here. Here we go. What do you want? What? Do what, Panda? know what you're interrupting? I'm about to shell this box again. You're interrupting SCCM hacks. That's what you're doing. I'll just have to give another demo sometimes. Me try to explain it on Twitch is hard. All right, man. I'm gonna be pretty busy this week, so I'll take a look at it. What are you doing? What are you doing? This is Panda, by the way, my little hacking sidekick. She's usually sleeping under the desk here, but now she's decided she wants to sleep on a different stinky backpack. So I have a backpack actually under my desk that I've had for probably 15 years, and she loves it, and it's become her bed. Well, I had another old stinky backpack in another part of the office, and so that's her current bed. So she just rotates between them. Yeah, Panda the hacker dog. All right. Let's prepare us another steak here. So we made sure that we had our HTTP up and running. So what we're going to do is we're just defining a string here. Let me bring this up high so y'all can see it. So we're defining a string variable, and it's just a couple of chained commands in PowerShell here. So we're telling it to create a new web client and then download this file. That is a PowerShell AMSI bypass we've already prepared. Go away. And then we're passing that to IEX. So it's going to download it, and then it's going to run the AMSI bypass. Then, in that same context, because it's all technically one command, right? It's going to do the same thing, but it's going to run our HTTP beacon code. So we're going to get an AMSI bypass. We're going to blind Defender to our PowerShell process for the most part, and then we're going to run the beacon back to it. So we're going to just define this string real quick. And then we're going to use this command just to convert it to base 64. So this becomes an encoded command. So let's copy this. Oh, you know what? I didn't actually grab. Let's do it. Let's make another note of this. So we want this right here. So I've just got the list of what was the command and what was the base 64 output from it. And then now what we can do is take this line here, bring this over to the workstation, and we're just going to, like I said, we're going to cheese this a little bit. And then what we'll do is we're going to run PowerShell as an administrator. Control-Shift-Enter. There we go. And we're going to drop this line in here. And that should give us a administrative HTTP shell back. In theory, that should work. Well, that theory is not sound. Now, there could be two reasons for this. One is it could be because of the way it's executing, it's running in the system context and not in Bob Farmer's context here. Or it could be because it's just not functioning. That would suck. Isn't base 64 not enough anymore for obfuscation, or is base 64 making things look pretty? It's pretty much just making things look pretty in this case. So let's kill this. Let's go host a new file. So we're going to go host a new payload in here. Go to payloads, and then HTTP x64 ps1, and URL will be just HTTP. Launch. All right, cool. You know what I just realized though? I think I'm a dumbass. I think I'm a legit 100% grade A dumbass. Yep. Because look at this. This is trying to call back. This was done differently. This was done as a pivot listener. All right. So that's not going to work. What we needed to do is actually modify this one up here. I'm going to put that right there. I'm going to put this up here too. Those are reference. we needed to modify this one, actually. Because this one actually hasn't reached back to our home system. Not through a port forwarder that we had set up on another beacon, which is not currently active. All right, second verse, same as the first. We'll change this to HTTP. And then we're going to run the conversion. And then we're going to drop this down here. So I actually don't want this one. Don't care about it. I want this one. And then that base 64. There we go. Let's grab this. We'll drop that down into our good old notes here. And then we can drop that into the workstation box. So that's why we're not getting the callback. We're not getting the callback because it's trying to reach a port that's not even open on that system. All right, so we'll copy that. Let's try this one more time. And let's see if we get a callback now. Hey, there we go. So look at this. Now we have Bee Farmer, and it's hard to tell from the icon here. Let me blow this up. If you look here, we have Bee Farmer in blue. This is a medium integrity process. But if we scroll up, now we have Bee Farmer in red. Red is the new process. And this is our high integrity process here. So we need to actually make an adjustment to it. We want to make it interactive. We're going to set the sleep timer at the amount of time between check-ins from the beacon, because it's not a constant connection. What's happening is it's going to check in on an interval and then download commands to run and then re-upload at the next check-in the output. So what we're going to do here is we're going to tell it, go ahead and just sleep at 0. So it's going to try and send and receive data as fast as possible. So let's take a quick ad break here real fast. And actually, I'm going to go tuck the dog in because she's probably starving. It's about her dinner time. So we'll do a quick ad break and then we'll go do that. So I'll be right back. All right, y'all. I'm back. She was very happy. I cooked some ribs on the smoker on Sunday, and so I saved all the bones for her. So I put a couple in her food bowl when I put her to bed at night. So she's very motivated to go to bed. Yeah, I was just going to tuck her into bed real fast. Yeah, Void, we do have Defender enabled in the lab here. Dude, I have been stalking Void. I have been looking for a smoker for probably about a year, but they're really expensive. Really expensive. One day, my wife tells me, that he's like, hey, by the way, there's these Oklahoma Joe smokers. They're on sale on Woot. I was like, not the place I would have expected to see them on sale, but okay, go look. It's a great deal. All the YouTube reviewers said it's a very great basic grill that's built like a tank. sold. So I got that, and now Panda's just been living in hog heaven ever since because she gets lots of little beat scraps now. She gets lots of little bones and stuff. So it cracks me up. She's very motivated when it's time. I tell her it's time to go to bed. All right. So now, actually, I want to see them. Can we actually make this connection again? Looks like it's probably not going to connect, so that didn't restart. That's fine. Because really what we need is this command here. Here we go, this one. The one that said, hey, it's got to be run as an administrator context. Oh, God, what just happened? SCCM. Okay, screw it. I'll just copy it from the notes. All right, so we're going to run this here. Close, close. There we go. So we're running this here. Let's do one other thing, actually. So bee farmer's high integrity process. Cool. So see how these say interactive? That means the check-in time is like as fast as possible. Perfect. So what we want is bee farmer. So if we do a get UID, you see we're running as bee farmer in his domain account. On this other one, though, this other high integrity process, we do a get UID. It's running as NT authority system, right? So it means we have God mode on this system, but not on anything else in the network. So let's run this here. So it looks like we need Bob's credentials, we need Bob's access, and a high integrity process to make this work. Thinking. Hey, there we go. All right, so that's going to be hella important for us to note. So we had a lot of hoops to jump through for this. So there's there's preconditions to this particular method. You got to have a user with appropriate access and a high integrity process. That's very important to know. Let's copy this over to our notes. The printer may alert in event logs about the IEX call in PrivEsk, but lets it go. Yeah, exactly. So there is supposed to be in the lab here. Hold on. Before I do this, let's make a note here. It needs account with firms and high integrity process. So make a little note there about this. Then we're going to drop this in here. Okay. So let me show you this real quick. In here in the lab, there's a couple like side applications too. So we have all the regular systems we can connect to, but over here in applications, there's also a DNS server. So I set up a couple of custom domains in here just to tinker with things. But then if I come to Kibana, there should be a whole Elastic stack that I can go through and find those logs and access it. I honestly just can't figure out where the hell to find it. I think the login was just admin. No, I think it's Elastic. Oh, it tells you actually on here. Yeah, Elastic. That's what it is. Elastic. Why is it not logging in? It's really weird. But anyway, so there should be. Yeah, it's all in Snap Labs. And so you can actually just buy the course if you wanted to, and you can also buy re-ups for the lab. The lab is like it's 100 roughly. It's in British pounds, but when you convert it to US dollars, it's like 180, 190, 100, and you get like 2 months of access or 150 hours, whichever one kind of runs out first. So, for example, on ours, we have 35 hours left. What the hell am I hearing? Hang on one sec, y'all. I'll be right back. I think one of my kids is up. I hear something weird. Let me go check on it real quick. Alright, y'all. I'm back. It was not one of my kids. It was Panda spazzing out because I dared to leave the door open to the room she sleeps in. She's like, I know you're out there. Yeah, the problem is she finished the rib bones I gave her, and she's like probably just wanting like, I want more. Like, no, you'll get more tomorrow. Let me try this again real quick. Password is elastic. What if I need to go revert that box? Elastic. Elastic. That's so weird. Password? Oh, screw it. I have never been able to go through the... Again, this is why it's a 9 out of 10. It's not a 10 out of 10. I've never been able to find out where to actually look at these logs in Kibana. And I like Kibana, and I've messed with Kibana in the Elastic Stack before in the past. But I have dug through that thing and spent I don't know how many hours trying to figure out where the hell do I just see the logs. Oh, was it saying? Was that what it was saying? Let me see. In a production environment, it's recommended you configure the server public. Yeah, meet that warning. I mean, it could be a degraded shard in here. I'm saying that's maybe why we can't log in. Because really, when you turn down the lab, it just shuts it down. I don't know how gracefully it shuts down the lab. Because usually I just come over here and just hit the stop. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Let's hit this. So what do we have here? Let's take a look at the output that we actually got back from this after we figured out what we needed from it. Clear out some of this junk. Oh, okay. That's why we needed the high integrity process. It had to modify some of these keys after it looked them up. See that? So it connects to the CCM, reads the blobs, and then it modifies permissions on these keys, and then reverts the permissions. All right, cool. So in DPAPI, we've got a couple of pieces of info here. What if did it actually just access it and decode it? Here's the system master key cache. So what are we looking at here? Did I not? Hold on. Did I miss something here? Oh, yeah, it's right there. Bam. Oh, 40815. Oh, it didn't capture all this output here. Let's grab this real quick. We'll just refresh this a little bit. Maybe we hit the cap for it. Nope. Oh, dude. So I don't know what is happening here, but we've ran into this issue before. See this? It's all very obviously copied right here. Hold on, I want to try something quick. And yeah, so for some reason, it will hit some kind of like special feed characters somewhere between here and here. And it will completely screw up trying to like copy the rest of this info out. So we ended up just having to like do it manually. You are killing me, Smalls. Can I just copy this? That's the important part. There we go. Thank you. Cool. So what it was able to do is actually pull this. So it automatically went and got the keys out of the registry, pulled them from SCCM, and then decoded them. Perfect. So now we know that SCCM underscore service has the, and in the parent domain too, has the password of cyberbiotic. Very nice. So let's do something. Let's get fancy. copy this. Let's take a look here. So if we come back over to Cobalt Strike, we come over to this guy right here. Let's run. Let's do a make token. Actually, I want to see what options do I have for make token. Just got to give it the username and password. I would prefer if I could make and steal the token, but whatever. All right, so I think we already pasted in. Let's get the username. Drop that. Really? You're not going to let me paste? Damn it. Something's happened here where, like, the special characters get stuck sometimes. And it's not going to let me, like, paste anymore. Damn it. You're annoying. I don't know. That's one of the that's an artifact of Apache Guacamole. That's nothing to do with this particular little lab setup in general. Because I've used Guacamole for the lab that I have run for my Black Hat trainings in the past, and so I'm kind of familiar with some of these stupid errors that it has happened sometimes. It's a great program for free. I'll just put it that way. There we go. So now we can actually probably list the contents of the primary domain controller. So DC1 cyberbotic.io. And so if we look at the, let's say the admin share. Bam. So now we have full, probably read-write access to DC1, which is the primary domain controller. Let's try something else, actually. Let's go back over to, I want to go to bfarmer's low integrity process here. What was the command that we ran that didn't function? So this was local. So rather than local, let's try get. So we'll do get NAA. Call it no banner, just to clean up the output a little bit. Let's run this. So this should actually query SCCM for the information. We were pulling it locally here. A client name to register computer name. Like you and a computer account password must be specified when the user is not a local administrator. Okay, so that's fine, because what we can do is copy this command out, and we'll go take it over to our administrative prompt right here. Let's run it in our admin shell. Well, I should say our admin shell, because Bob is an admin on the system. We're going to run it in our high integrity process. Boom. That's even sexier. Great. Let's make a note of that real quick. So this is... we got a lot of cool info here from local through DPAPI. Let's see. Rolling. Wait, did I miss it? That was get devices. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Finding network access account controls. This is local from DPAPI. And for anyone who doesn't know, DPAPI is the data protection API, and it's how credentials are encrypted and stored on your system. So we'll say this. We'll say this is a alternative way to SCCM. And then what we'll do is we'll take that output and bring it. Here we go. We actually need to make a note for this also, that it too needs a high integrity process. This right in integrity admin process. Or machine account Creds. That's what we need. Kill me space. Did it actually paste though? Yeah, okay, so it did. It's doing that same thing though. See how like it spazzes out for some reason when we're getting ready to paste the password? Just grab this real quick, just so we'll have it for a minute. Save. Oh, so the shift key is what's stuck. See that? Because this is save as, which is Control Shift S. I'm not hitting Control Shift S. But now if I hit Control Shift S, it saves it. The shift key is what gets stuck and screws all this up. Pain in the ass. Alright, cool. Let's see. Alright, so there's one more thing we want to do here. Right, so we progressed pretty hard by getting access to the SCCM service account, where we've got probably a damn near full compromise of the parent domain, but we can also do lateral movement with it. So let's see. Actually, we can actually get code execution from sharp SCCM. It actually has an exec verb. So if we just look at the help output. So there's this exec command right here. So we can actually have it execute commands for us. Don't. That's the Cookie Monster virus, Void. With great Cookie Monster comes great responsibility. Actually, I got the lady that made me that emote also made this one. And so she's also making me a couple of like just basic reaction emotes, like the emotional emotes, like happy, angry, sad. But they're all going to be the smiley face with an eye patch from Lord Nikon's laptop. I love that smiley face so much. All right, let's take a look at something real quick. So we would tell it is we want to do an exec command here. And then, actually, let's just run exec. Let's see what options it needs. So it needs a full administrator account, which Bob is. We're running as Bob Farmer. So we have full administrator access. Wait, no, we don't actually. Well, yeah, we do. Bob, I believe, has read-only access, but the developers group was also a full administrator. He is a member of the developers group. Oh, so we got to specify what we're going to run here. So we can tell it the name of a collection that we want to run against. So like we want to run against the dev collection. We can have it run Windows notepad.exe. Dude, if fucking Cobalt Strike died on me right now, I'm so mad. Oh, there we go. Did not. There's a issue that we've known about here in Cobalt Strike. Sometimes when we list processes in the GUI as opposed to in the CLI here, it will just crash out the Cobalt Strike interface. Now it just crashes the client, doesn't crash the server. So it's trying to create the deployment. I just wonder why it's failing. we have any? Is this listed as running as a job? Yes. Okay. Job kill 4. Job kill 5. Kill both of those. Let's try this again. This is actually the last thing we're going to do for tonight, because this gives us our lateral movement. We're not actually going to leverage it. This just shows us how we can get code execution on these different systems. Waiting for new deployment to become available. So what is it saying here? So what we're seeing is it's querying the local WMI repository. Let me kill this job. It's probably number 6 in here. There. All right. Because it's just going to keep scrolling down to the bottom. Let's take a look at what happened here. So it connects to the local CCM, checks the site code, creates a new application, and gives it this path. So it updated it to hide it. An exception occurred while attempting to commit the changes. Generic failure. Is your account assigned the correct security role? Should be. We might need to run this as Nina, to think of it. Let's check our notes real fast. So, pro tip, the reason why I like to do this is... So we do starts. That's checking our collections. That's finding, here we go, the admin accounts. Let's see, so this is saying... Oh, so cyber domain admins is in here. Oh, role names is read-only analyst. Okay, I think that's where I was getting confused. There we go. So dev developers are read-only analysts. That's why he can't do this, because he's having trouble with it. That's fine. So let's look at the role names. Full administrators, dev support engineers. Okay, so we can't do this with Bob, but we can do this with Nina. We can use Nina's account to make this work. Awesome. That explains why it's failing like that. Good to know. Not bad. Let's go run this in Nina's account. I think we actually did this in... We did this in the system shell. Well, I don't know if we don't have the back scroll though, because this shell has died before. That's all right. We'll just do it here. So we'll do make token, and it's gonna be for dev / nlam, and her password was QWERTY123. There we go. And then now we'll have it run this. So this should work because now we're running as Nina. Possibly. We'll see what happens. Link lost to beacon. Sad Anda. You know what I think we can do though? Actually, let's come back over to here. We could do a spawn as. Let's do something real quick. Let's go to our site management. No, where is it? Credentials. Here we go. Let's add a credential here. So the username is nlam. Password is QWERTY123. Let's snooze these ads here because we're almost done. Realm is going to be dev. Source main. Yep. There you go. There you go. Just in case we want to be able to remember those later. let's come back over here. And let's try... Yeah, so let's do a spawn as. Let's check what the help is for that. So we can spawn a payload as another user. There you go. So we'll do spawn as. Give it dev /nlam. And her password, weird T123. Except it's not all capitalized. That's not good. And then we're going to tell it to spawn an HTTP beacon back to us. Actually, let's just have it spawn an SCP beacon. We'll have it do a pivot listener. That didn't work for some reason. What if we did a TCP listener? Dev /nlam QWERTY123. That's weird. I wonder why that's not working. What if we need to do that from our system shell? Let's reconnect this. And then from our system shell. Yeah, let's do another TCP here. Or was QWERTY123 J King's password? Yeah, I think that was J King's password. Let's try it real quick. That might be why we're having this problem. Okay, so that was the issue right there. Gotcha. Okay. Just task this one to exit. Move it. Forget what Nina's password is, but we need to go update them. Credentials. So let's edit that. So that's not in LAN, that's J King. Actually, you know what? We could try that as J King. J King might have permissions to do it. Let's do it. Why not? What was our command here? There we go. Let's copy this. No, that's not it. That's not what we wanted. Oh, we gotta scroll all the way back to the top. Oh, that was the middle beacon. Okay. Let's grab this real fast here. There we go. Execute assembly. I just don't feel like typing all that out. Copy that. Then we're going to drop it over here in our... This one? Let's do a rep to self here. Let me try one more thing here, because I wonder if this should be spawning it as a high integrity or low integrity process. Let's check something. I don't know if we can tell spawn as to spawn it as a high integrity process. Nope, just what we're going to be doing here. So rather than spawn as, it's saying use make token. Which that would probably work. Let's do make token. They got TCP. Let's try it that way. All right. And then what happens now if we try to do this exec against SCCM? Now this is a net only one, so we're not going to be able to authenticate locally. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. So in this guy here, we're still impersonating J King, so let's do the spawn as here. So then here in his low priv user account, this is legit access he's got, so we shouldn't need a high privilege integrity, high integrity process. I hope not. Dude, what is happening here? Kill me, Smalls. I mean, the theory is sound on it. This is pretty much all there was to that. So I think we'll just call it good there for now. We should know it should work. What happened is J King should have it should be able to go and run these different commands against this. I think that's probably what we're going to call it for tonight. Damn it, I tried to snooze the ads again. Let's see here. Where is there? Sessions. I think this gives us a list of all the commands we've run against various targets, if I remember. I actually haven't messed with the reporting from Cobalt Strike very much. Are you gonna open? There we go. This come up. It doesn't give her a password and do this. This is not the output I wanted. I know somewhere in here in the reporting. I'm gonna try this real quick. So we'll give this a second to export. I just want to check something real quick. Alright, cool. So we should have an activity report. Maybe this will actually happen. Close that. But do we see make token appear in here? Oh, come on. Don't spaz out on me right now. See where we see Inlam here. That was us passing the ticket. So this is all the times we ran Inlam with a fake password. See. Trying to see if we had Nina's password actually in here. That was us still running Rubius. That was us running, yeah, I'm still using Rubius. We're impersonating Nina. Is that what I thought it was? Hold on. I think I just saw it, but I don't think that was the correct one. Yeah, pass 1, 2, 3, that's not it. Come on, where's Nina's password? No, we're searching up. No, search down, fucker. Good lord. I'm trying to figure out why this stuff was like, why does it look so different? There was the stuff where we were doing the GPO updates and abuses. Let's see. Again, more GPO updates and abuses. Random observation of the day. Rocku.txt contains 519 lines matching ice.starcream. Interesting. I wonder what I wonder what people put in between ice cream there. That is a nice random observation for the day. All right, let's see. Damn it, I'm trying to find out where we had Nina's password. Wait, did we save this? I'm gonna kick my own ass if we actually put this in our notes last time we had it. I could always go find it in the curriculum, but I feel like almost like I have to punish myself if I didn't. No, I think we had Jay King's password, though. Yeah, Jay King's password was QWERTY123. I had to go find Nina's. Alright. Well, I'm not going to worry about it too much more, because we've got our main objective. We know we can get that remote code execution on everything in the collection with SCCM. Hang on. Hang on, good boy. Hey. So many people are literally an open book. They use things from their everyday life as passwords, and it takes like a day of recon to get enough info to crack their stuff. Yeah, pretty much. So we have a really massive password cracking rig that my team uses. We call it Cthulhu, and it has 8 NVIDIA Titan Vs. It's a ton of power in that. And so we crack a lot of passwords with it. And what variably comes of that is we find a lot of it's a very interesting look into a person's inner psyche. We found stuff that we're like, wow, I didn't know that about that person. And we found stuff like, I think we need to call Homeland Security. And everywhere in between. Passwords are a very intimate thing. We never think somebody's going to ever see them. Yeah, so we've got a big honking server with 8 Titan V cards in it. And so it's got 8 GPUs worth of cracking power. All right, y'all. I think that's what we're going to call it for tonight. I wanted to get this running, but I am beat. Today was a very long day for me. And the theory is sound. It's not going to get us anything spectacular right now. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. CPUs are better at doing multiple tasks at once, but GPUs do one task faster. Yeah, if you can... So, yeah, exactly, Apollo. Your GPUs can... If you can specialize what you're going to be doing for that hardware set, they will run stupid fast. CPUs will not run as fast, but they're able to do a lot more. So your essential trade-off is your CPU has a huge amount of possibility, but because of that, it has low throughput. Your GPUs have smaller possibilities, but higher throughput because it can parallelize all that stuff that's going through it. All right. Okie dokie, y'all. I don't think I'm almost 100% guaranteed nobody else from the InfoSec streams is online. Yep, we are the last of the Mohicans for InfoSec. So let's just hop over to Twitch and see who's on that we might want to raid. Or if anybody has any suggestions, feel free to drop it. Meet you. Let's see, who's in science and tech right now? Let's see, we got astrobiology. The shrubbery quest continues. What is he working on? That looks pretty badass. This guy's name is Flatulent Gonad. I can't but help but think about what kind of wet farts he's got. What he's working on? He's doing some kind of wiring in there. I'm gonna keep him on the back burner. Flatulent Gonad. A man who trusts his farts. Yeah, exactly. Let's see who else are here. Let's go check and see who's in. Actually, what's Fujitech doing? What's he coding? I think he's doing front-end development because he's using TypeScript. All right. I'll keep him in the back burner too, just because he streams in the same category. Let's go look at software and game dev. Let's see who's running anything fun in here. Let's see. Let me check something real fast here. Let's do. So, see if we got any suggestions from you. Duck libraries. Retro SPF game devs. Liberation. Oh, this guy's doing some work on Pigeon. That's actually a pretty cool program. Might use that one. Let's see. Nobody's ever on at midnight. Yeah, I know, right, man? That's why if I can find somebody over in software and game development that's doing something interesting, I'll go raid them. All right, let's go probably raid this guy because Pigeon actually is a cool tool. It's a chat client and you can do a lot of stuff with it. It can ingest a lot of different chat feeds and you can use OTR with it off the record. So you can have, asymmetric key encryption. Yeah, so let's give this guy a raid out. Do me a favor, everybody. When you get in there, spam him with Cookie Monster emotes. So, all right. All y'all have a badass night. Thanks for hanging out. So that wrapped up a lot of the SCCM stuff we're doing. In fact, that was the last of it. So the next thing we're going to look at is... Ooh, we're going to do actually a little bit more Kerberos, because we're going to be doing golden, silver, and diamond tickets, and forging certificates. So what do we do after we've kind of compromised the domain? Hell yeah. Oh yeah, dude, hop in there. The Discord is very much under construction. I'm still a professional penetration tester. I work full time during the day. I got 2 little kids, and then I stream 3 to 4 hours a night. I felt really bad the other night because I only streamed for 2.5 hours. But we were at a logical stopping spot. It made sense. So yeah, hop in there and just chat away. I'm working on adding some more stuff to it. And yeah, actually, so given like where you're coming from it, the main thing you can focus on to start improving yourself is just understanding what's possible. That's 90% of the battle right there. Think about how many people ran a 4-minute mile before the first person did it. Nobody did it. Then all of a sudden, everybody was running 4-minute miles, right? They're just killing it because they just need to know what's possible. All right, let's set this raid up. Everybody, thank y'all so much for hanging out. Let's get this going. I need to get me some sleep. So we will be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow we're doing Greyhack with Salty Demon. Tune in for that because that is a great learning tool. And once you get in there, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So, all right, everybody, let's get the raid kicked off. All right, I will see you all tomorrow night. We're doing some Greyhack. We're going to get back to start messing with some of these golden and silver tickets on Wednesday. Y'all have a great night. Peace.
User RW_Gram is online. User Battylin is online.